My life goal is that when I say to you, let's go on a one-to-one, the next question you're going to say, the next thing you're going to tell me is where you want that burger. And if it's anywhere south of Canada and north of like the Oregon southern border, we'll just go, that'll be our one-to-one. We'll go fly and get a burger somewhere. You'll know my business doesn't need any more referrals when that's how our one-to-ones go. Until then, I need more referrals. Do you know what MSU is? Make stuff up. All right. So I'm going to stand over there. All right. So what I'm going to talk about for the next 8 minutes, Mr. Adrian, is what a marketing plan is, why a small business needs a marketing plan instead of being guilty of the thing I call random acts of marketing, how it protects you from random acts of marketing. And then I'll show you exactly what is included in that marketing action plan. And we'll talk about the financial assistance program, which is my initiative to help a certain segment of the small business market that I think is underserved by my industry, which calls themselves digital marketers. Next slide, please, Jonathan. Okay, so I approach marketing from a slightly different perspective than most of my peers because of my time as an Army planner. Insurgency or counterinsurgency is a component of military arts and sciences where we talk about a government which it has a threat that is using unlawful violence to try to dispose that government. The government will always have supporters. There are people in the government, there are the people who think the government's doing the right thing, and then there are the insurgents, the people who think the government is doing the wrong thing, and they're willing to use unlawful violence to cause the government to change. And in the end, the vast majority of the population in most countries don't really care. They think their government is doing adequately, and the job of the government supporters is to convince more of them to be government supporters, and the job of the insurgent is to convince more of them to be against the government. That's the foundation. So when we talk about how marketing applies, the only difference is we're not allowed to drop JDAM bombs through the roofs of our competitors. There are certain people who are our raving fans and will always be our raving fans. And our job as marketers is to give them a megaphone to talk to the people in the middle. There are people who are brand loyal to our competitor, and they're never going to switch. There's not even a point of wasting our breath on talking to them. Part of the issue with marketing systems is figuring out who that population is and not wasting marketing dollars on talking to that audience who's never going to listen to our message anyway. There we go. So that's the foundation under which I think about the concept of marketing. Okay, there we go. So what I did is I said, Dylan's other office is in Kennewick. Richland is right next door. I said, a massage therapist in Richland. What do I come up with? And I come up with 6 or 8 people. And presuming that the person I'm doing the analysis for is one of these 3, what I'm doing is I'm looking at that person and their top 2 to 3 competitors. So I go to the next slide, and I'm looking at how they appear to someone other than themselves, because your website is relevant to you. And the browser knows that you go to your website over and over and over again. The browser's always going to rank your website really high for you. When I go look at that website, so do that exact same search, or especially when I go in incognito or in private mode and do that same search, I get a totally different result. Anybody else in the room who does that search is going to get a different result than you're going to get for your own website. So I'm looking at what the Google Business Profile, Bing Places, all of those other directories, the Yelp listing says about the business. I'm looking at what the reviews say about the, I'm looking at what the reviews say about the business. I'm looking at whether they're running ads. In this case, I did Facebook ads only, but I'm also looking at Google ads and Bing ads if they're running those. I'm comparing their websites, seeing where the strengths and weaknesses are, and I'm looking at their social media. In this case, I popped up Facebook only, but if I was doing the actual analysis, I would also look at Instagram and possibly Pinterest, depending on who the audience it should be, and possibly LinkedIn, depending on who the audience is. The icons along the bottom are just an indicator that sometimes when I'm doing the presentation to someone, I don't go into the detail. But again, I do come to this equation with this deeper background of doing the analysis. And so I'm applying all of these different models to my thought process as I'm doing this evaluation. That's the deliverable when I say I'm doing a marketing consultation or marketing action plan. Here's what I'm doing for that person and providing them that they can then understand how they appear to the rest of the world. Next slide, please. And then we're laying out 3 components of, and this is what you do about it. So the first thing that we need to talk about is, who is your audience? What is your market segment? What is your message? And will that message resonate with that audience? If yes, then what channels do we use to communicate that message to that audience? We need 3 systems. We need a capture system, a way to identify that that audience member has we had that audience's attention, a nurture system engaging them over time until the place when they reach a buying decision, and a close system, that's your sales process, to actually turn that prospect into a customer. Within the category of customers, the experience is how that journey feels to them, whether they feel like they've gotten the service that they expected. Lifetime value of the customer, have an acronym without having it spelled out, is the thought that just the first sale is not the most important sale. The person most likely to buy from you is someone who already has bought from you. So how do we incentivize that person to make an additional or follow-on purchase? And similarly, stimulating referrals is the process of, now that we have this person who's comfortable with our services, how do we incentivize them to pick up that megaphone that we're handing them and speak to all the others in that public audience that we're trying to reach? Next slide, please. So, thank you. Perfect. So this financial assistance program, there's this population of businesses who are going concerns. They're stable, profitable, and I would love to have their business. I would love to have a referral to them. My marketing message to them sounds exactly like all of my competitors as digital marketers. There's another segment of the population, the businesses who are just starting out or who have been in this feast or famine stage and struggling, who I would love to serve. How do I give them the service at a price that they can afford while being respectful of this other audience? The financial assistance program is a sliding scale discount that is not a permanent discount. It is to get you moving in the right direction to the point that your business can start being profitable. Final slide, please. I'm no longer doing free marketing consultations after today. If you in this room say, hey, can I do a free consultation? Absolutely, I'll still do that. From this point forward, that is my product. I'm Keith. I'm the bald guy. I do marketing plans.